Hi students, welcome to my lectures on chemical engineering thermodynamics. I request you to follow from the beginning to understand the present lectures because every lecture is connected. In the last class, we have introduced about the fugacity and fugacity coefficients for the gases. In today's lecture, we are going to estimate the fugacity of liquid, okay, because as an engineer, you have to deal with the non-ideality of the gases as well as non-ideality of the liquids. So in this today's lecture, we have to deal with the non-ideality of the liquid. That means estimating the fugacity coefficients of the liquids. And here the lecture goes. Imagine you wanted to find out fugacity of species I, okay, which is a liquid. Okay, that is why it is represented by FIL. L represents the liquid. And to estimate the fugacity coefficient of the liquid, we should take the help of saturated conditions. Saturated conditions are those, that means if you want to estimate the temperature and pressure of this particular liquid, at the same temperature, what are the saturated conditions of this liquid? That means saturated conditions where liquid and gas coexist in equilibrium. So at same temperature, at what is the pressure that vapor and liquid both exist in equilibrium? These are called the saturated conditions. To estimate the fugacity of the liquids, you need to take the help of the saturated conditions also. The temperature should be the same, but the pressure is different. The pressure at which the liquid vapor coexist, that is called the saturation pressure. So having this background, let us estimate the fugacity of the liquid. Okay, fugacity or non-ideality of the liquid cannot be directly correlated to the pressure as that of a gases or vapor. In the last class, we said that fugacity can be directly correlated with the pressure. That means if ideal cases, it is called the pressure. For non-ideal cases, it is called the fugacity for the gases. As far as the liquids are concerned, you cannot directly correlate pressure with the fugacity. There is a separate term which is a fugacity of the liquid. So there is a specific procedure to estimate the fugacity of the liquid. Let us discuss that procedure. Imagine, let us take fugacity of the liquid you are supposed to estimate. You need to take these the four terms. One is X term, Y term, Z term and PI sat. So you have to rewrite this fugacity of the liquid in terms of these four expressions. Because you can see fugacity of vapor saturated by PI sat, fugacity of liquid saturated by vapor saturated, fugacity of liquid by fugacity of liquid at saturated conditions. That means I am rewriting this as the combination of these four terms, and it is very simple. This term cancels out, this term cancels out, this PI sat will cancels out. Finally, you will get fugacity of the liquid at the end. So let us rewrite this fugacity of the liquid in four different parts. The first part is X, second part is Y, third part is Z, and fourth part is PI sat. Let us evaluate each and every part. Okay, take the X part. X part is nothing but fugacity of ith component vapor phase in saturated condition divided by saturated pressure. You know, it's very easy. Fugacity with respect to pressure is called fugacity coefficient. That means I can rewrite this X term as phi I sat. That means X term I can replace with the phi I sat. Second term, fugacity of I in the liquid divided by fugacity of Y, both are at saturation conditions. That means at the same temperatures, if a vapor and coexist in equilibrium, that means the value of the fugacity of a liquid divided by value of the fugacity of vapor at saturated conditions, both are existing at equilibrium. The value of these both are same. That is why the ratio is 1. Finally, the third term. Okay, fugacity of I in the liquid divided by fugacity of liquid at saturated conditions. That means you are taking the ratio of these two conditions. Fugacity of I at liquid state divided by fugacity of vapor at saturated conditions. That means you are taking these two ratios. Okay, if you take these two ratios, liquid. That means this is liquid, this is liquid at saturated conditions. You have to take these two ratio, I'm sorry. Okay, the ratio of these two is nothing but exponent of 1 by RT integral P sat to P VIL dP. VIL means liquid, okay, molar volume of the liquid at the saturated conditions. Okay, you get this expression for the Z term. How this we have got? Okay, we will do the small derivation to for you to show me that the ratio of these two is nothing but exponent of this term. Finally, you have to replace x term, y term, z term in this equation. You get a final expression for the finding out the fugacity of the liquid. Fugacity of the liquid is nothing but phi I sat, pi sat. This is 1, so you don't need to worry, and exponent of 1 by RT integral VIL dP. So if you know all the expressions, all the values of these expressions, you can calculate the fugacity of the liquid at given temperature and pressure. So let us find out how I got this expression, the Z expression. Okay, let me move this way. Okay, derivation. You know, the Gibbs energy of I in the liquid is nothing but integration constant plus RT ln fugacity of the liquid. Fugacity of liquid at saturated conditions. That means I am taking these two ratios. Fugacity of liquid at saturated condition is nothing but the same integration constant plus RT ln FIL sat. Okay, let us take the difference between these two. Okay, fugacity of I at the liquid state minus, Gibbs energy of I at the liquid state minus Gibbs energy of I at the saturated conditions. This is a liquid state, this is a liquid state at saturation conditions. Is nothing but RT ln fugacity of I in the liquid divided by fugacity of I in the liquid at saturated conditions. I know, if you remember, what is dG? That means change in Gibbs energy is nothing but V dP minus S dt. Okay, because I am evaluating the things at constant temperature. So at constant temperature, the change in temperature dt equal to 0. That means this expression equal to 0. Then this equation dG is equal to VIL into dP. Let us integrate from saturated conditions to the conditions I want. That means integration from saturated conditions to present conditions. That means P sat to P. Okay, if I do that, here the P sat, this is P, this is GI sat to ZI. So if you GI, if you integrate this, ZIL minus GI at liquid saturated conditions, okay, is equal to integral Pi sat to P VIL into dP. Okay, this is dP. Okay, now you will see these two expressions, expression 1 and expression 2. These both are same on the left hand side. If these are both are same on the left hand side, the right hand side I automatically equate. So if 1 equal to 2, but I equating the right hand side terms, then RT ln FIL by FIL sat equal to this integral term. So my FIL by FIL sat, that means I am evaluating this expression, is nothing but exponent of 1 by RT integral P to Pi sat to P and VIL into dP. This is how I got this expression. Now I have all the three expressions in hand to substitute here. And the other thing is, in general, with respect to pressure, liquid volume will not change. In general, only at very high pressures, the volume of the liquid depends on pressure. Because liquid is generally incompressible, then volume will not change with respect to pressure. If volume will not change with respect to pressure, volume will come out of the integral. Then integral dP, you are going to evaluate. So from this expression, you replace this exponent of 1 by RT integral Pi sat to P VIL dP, you change now. Okay, then phi I sat, Pi sat, exponent of VIL P minus Pi sat by RT. That means I have simply evaluated the integral. Okay, the last term is called Poynting factor. Okay, it is named in many books. You might have referred that this expression is called Poynting factor. At low pressures, that means you are working at 1 atmospheres, okay, close to 1 atmospheres. This expression, the value of this expression will be close to 1. So if you are not working at very high pressures, you can ignore that exponent term by making equal to 1. That is what this equal to 1. If you make this term equal to 1, fugacity of the liquid can estimated using these two terms. One is phi I sat, one is pi sat. That means this fugacity of the liquid can be estimated either to any one of these formulas. Either you can use this formula or this formula. Any formula is fine. So let us take a small example on how to calculate the fugacity of the liquid at a given pressure and temperature conditions. So let us find find fugacity of liquid water at a 300 degrees centigrade and 10,000 kilopascal. That means there is a liquid with me which is at a temperature of 300 and 10,000 kilopascal. Then I have to find out what is this fugacity of liquid water at these conditions. So for me to evaluate these conditions, I have to take the help of a saturated conditions. That means temperature should be the same. At 300 degrees centigrade, the saturation pressure of water is around 8592.7 kilopascal. That means at this pressure, at this temperature, the vapor and liquid coexist in equilibrium, because temperature should not change in our example. Okay, for at the same temperature, what is the pressure? The liquid and vapor of water exist in equilibrium. Those are called saturated conditions. Now I know P sat and P, which is 10,000. Okay, in this expression I have taken R is equal to 8.314 joule per mole Kelvin. Volume of the liquid at this saturated, normally VIL is a volume, molar volume of the liquid at the condition, saturated conditions we should take. So at the saturated conditions, the molar volume of the liquid is around 25.28 into 10 power minus 6 meter cube per mole. These are the saturated volume of liquid at saturated conditions. Phi I sat is given. Phi I sat can be estimated. I told in the last class there are number of methods to estimate the fugacity coefficients. Using those methods, you can able to do, but our class is not to find out the fugacity coefficients. So let us take the value. Fugacity coefficient of this at saturated conditions is 0.7843. That means in this expression I have got all the things that are required for calculation of fugacity of the liquid. Phi I sat I know, pi sat I know, exponent of all the terms I know. So simply put up each and everything in the formula. Finally you get fugacity of liquid at these conditions around 6789.75 kilopascal. Okay, make sure once you apply the value in the formula, everything should be uniform. You can go for SI units. Okay, fine. See the beauty. Even though the pressure in the liquid is 10,000 kilopascal, what happens to the fugacity? It is around 6,000. That means the real driving force is not 10,000 in the liquid. The real driving force is around 6,000. Okay, that is what the ideality and non-ideality. That means for any reaction or separation, purification, you think that 10,000 might be the driving force. No, in reality 10,000 is the driving force. In reality 6,789 is the driving force for anything to happen. So I can estimate what is the, I know what is the fugacity now, and what could be the fugacity coefficient. Fugacity coefficient is nothing but fugacity of the liquid divided by pressure. The fugacity coefficient is around 6,789 divided by 10,000. So the fugacity coefficient of liquid is 0.6789. Okay, that is what it is important. If you go with the 10, you cannot design anything based on this 10,000 driving force. Otherwise you will underestimate everything. Okay, so actual driving force is 6,789. You have to design the evaporator, separator, mixer chamber, reactor, everything based on this real driving force for anything to happen. Because if you put a pressure meter, definitely it will show 10,000. But your reaction or separation will not go according to this 10,000 that is shown in the pressure meter. So in reality, even though the pressure is 10,000, in reality the fugacity coefficient is 6,789. So I hope now understand the very important part of the lecture, he is estimating the fugacity coefficient of a liquid. Okay. Thank you very much. Let us meet with the new lecture. See you.